As always, I'd like to share a message with you at the end of what has been just a wonderfully blessed day for me. There's that great saying, count your blessings, and I do feel very blessed today. Somehow everything slotted into place on this day, which I tried to take off a Thursday for the most part. I got across to Chester for another wonderful organ recital by a young man called Ben Blur. At least I hope that's how he pronounces his name, B-L-O-O-R, I think. He's the organist apparently at the London Oratory, a very famous church, of course, of the Oratorians. And he also teaches organ at Westminster School and plays in Westminster Abbey. He has a remarkable CV for such a very young man, and it was a splendid occasion. And then somehow I managed to get up to Southport in time to visit both Archbishop Patrick and Father Pat O'Brien, who was, of course, my predecessor at St Mary's, both of them now living in Southport, both of them quite remarkable in their mid to late 80s, and yet as absolutely, both of them as sharp as could be, in wonderful conversations, and it was just a very pleasant day altogether. And I've got back again. The buses and trains seem to be there for me all the time in readiness, and it's 20 to 8 now, so I thought I'll record this message and then go and have a bite to eat. So I do feel very blessed and very grateful, and also grateful for so many of the things that are going on in both the parishes, the initiatives that people are taking, trying to work on the whole prospect of this year of Jubilee, and recognising that we are pilgrims. I like that focus on pilgrims in hope. We're working towards hope. We have that gift of hope which God gives us, and yet we want to develop and share it. So there's a lot going on. And of course, alongside that, we've got the support of our sister churches, the Anglicans, the Free Churches, and of course the Salvation Army. Again, we met yesterday morning, just a few of us yesterday. I'm conscious too that half term's already on us next week, so we look forward to a bit of a break there, and hope the schools and everybody has a good time. And the other thing I just wanted to share with you, I've at long last started trying to go through lots of old files and boxes of things, but I yesterday had a remarkable day discovering bits and pieces. Of course, the problem is once you start looking through old boxes and the stuff you've stored away for years, of course you can't get on with it because you keep stopping and looking at things and reading things. But I discovered in my mother's, I'm going through some of my mother's effects, and goodness me, I've had those since 2002 when she died, God rest her. But I found a photograph, a number of photographs, but one photograph of my father. My sister and I always remember him talking. He talked very little actually about the war days, but when he came back from the war, he was with the South Wales Borderers. They were billeted in Oxford, in Wadham College, and I found a photograph of my dad with a group of army men, and it's quite clearly him, and on the back it's got Oxford 1918. We know that was the year, of course, the war ended, and they would have, so that was presumably while he was at Wadham College. I'm not sure my sister's ever seen the photograph, so next time I go to London I'll certainly be taking those photographs with me. And then I was looking through some of the correspondence and some of the reviews I had when I'd finished my thesis and published my book, and I came across a treasured letter from Bernard Häring. Many of you know that Father Bernard Häring was a German redemptorist, a very eminent moral theologian who rewrote the moral theology of the church as a result of his experience in the Second World War. He was taken prisoner as a chaplain with the German army, and then he was sent to Rome and to study moral theology, and of course he became a very celebrated moral theologian. Everybody didn't agree with everything he wrote, but that's the way the church is, isn't it? And I've heard a wonderful story about Bernard Häring that Pope Francis mentioned to a group of redemptorists. I trust this is factual. It certainly sounds a good one anyway from our point of view. And he said, when I was a student, we were forbidden to read Bernard Häring. And then he apparently followed it up with a phrase like, "How stupid was that?" Well, Bernard Herring wrote to me after I published the book, What Binds Marriage, and he wrote the most gracious letter encouraging me to keep on working at that whole notion of the importance of the orthodox tradition of oikonomia, which he, of course, had latched onto, and I was quite influenced by that and by him. And I had the privilege of meeting him in the mid-90s. He came to give us a retreat, a province retreat in Hawkston. So these treasured memories came back, and I just really do want to thank God for the good things, and ask the Lord to continue to bless me and you, and to support us with the prayers of our patron saints, of course, our Redemptorist saints especially, and Mary, our Mother of Perpetual Succor. So with that thought in mind today, let's just ask the Lord to continue to bless our troubled world. There's so much that's causing us alarm, and we were talking about that with Archbishop Patrick, particularly this afternoon. He keeps right up to date and is pretty clear about how he feels about certain things. But let's thank God, as I say, for all the blessings and the good things, and pray that the Lord will continue to touch the hearts of those who can have a huge influence in how our world works its way towards peace and hope in the future. May the Lord continue to bless you and fill you with that peace, and strengthen you and unite your families and your friends in the love of God. Amen.